Feast Week presented by Lowe's.
Game for the ages.
Hey, get your popcorn. You know what time it is. Game time. Let's get it. Woo! It's a blockbuster. PK80, baby. Yo, Phil Knight, it's your birthday.
Whatever.
The Florida Gators face Duke in the championship.
They don't get many chances to beat number one.
Make a wish, make a switch. 80 candles lit for the PK80. Just do it, y'all.
Welcome back to Portland inside the Moda Center here. A big crowd for the championship game of the motion bracket. Number 1 Duke and number 7 Florida in what should be an outstanding matchup. This is the PK80 Invitational presented by State Farm. Both teams coming off difficult, emotional wins a couple of nights ago, and this one sets up as a potential classic. Hi again, everybody. Dan Shulman and Jay Billis, two of the best teams in America, two of the best offensive teams in America, but they do it in very different ways.
Both these teams can really score, but Duke does it in the paint and off the glass. Duke averages 49 points in the paint. That's number 1 in the nation. They get almost half of their misses as offensive rebounds, and Marvin Bagley is their leading scorer. He had 34 points, 15 rebounds against Texas. He's also got a running mate in Wendell Carter Jr. that is absolutely fantastic. And for Florida, they are a three-point shooting team that's averaging over 100 points per game. They average over 12 threes made per game. And Jalen Hudson leads the way at 35 points, made 8 threes against Gonzaga in the semifinal this PK80. He was absolutely magnificent.
Outstanding officiating crew tonight. Randy McCall, Mike Each, Jeff Clark, the Blue Devils in blue, the Gators in orange. And a lot on the line. Michigan State's already won the victory bracket. They defeated North Carolina convincingly to win that side of the championship. Now it is Duke and Florida to settle this one. We are ready for the tip of our Sonic blockbuster matchup. It'll be Bagley and Stone on the tip. And the Blue Devils with the first possession of the game. 4 freshmen and the senior Grayson Allen in the starting lineup again for Duke. Allen fouled out of the last game, the overtime win against Texas. Bagley had a monster game with 34 points, 15 rebounds. He misses his first attempt here.
Igor Kulichov is guarding Marvin Bagley, and that is a difficult matchup because of the size that Kulichov is giving up.
Gary Trent Jr. with an impressive block. There are the Gators. They're a much smaller team, even though Kulichov is on Bagley. Really, it's 4 guards and 1 big guy. And even the big guy is not that big. They are much smaller at virtually every position.
And they will play out on the perimeter. They take a ton of threes and make a ton of threes as Kayvon Allen knocks down the first one. He's been struggling from 3 of late. That's good news for Florida that he hit his first.
Allen, the 6'2 junior out of Little Rock, Arkansas, and the Gators on the board first. The Gators play a similar style really to the way that Duke has played for many years. 4 out, 1 in, a lot of three-point shooters, but it's a much different kind of Duke team this year.
Well, Kayvon Allen was magnificent in the NCAA tournament last season, and he had 23 points. He only went 5 of 16 against Gonzaga, so knocking down the first one and seeing a bigger basket is a good development for Florida.
Wendell Carter Jr. no. Bagley misses a couple of tries.
Bagley with that left hand, and you can see his second and third jump. It's amazing how quick he gets off the floor.
So we talked about Kulichov having to cover Bagley at one end. Bagley's got to cover Kulichov at the other end, and Kulichov can really shoot it from 3.
Well, that's the issue, is Florida spreading out Duke with all their cutting, their ability to drive and knock down perimeter shots.
Kulichov keeps the dribble alive, finds Chris Chiozza, who had a magnificent game in the double overtime win over Gonzaga, and lays it in to make it 5-0 Gators. Grayson Allen counters at the other end.
Excellent pass ahead, and after the ball goes through the net on one end, Duke beating him down the floor.
Wow, Kayvon Allen feeling it, misses that long 3.
Florida gets a lot of cutting action. They'll get a lot of ball screen action. And then when they drive, they'll actually fill behind. And Mike White calls it searching. You know, they play behind a lot of drives, and they can get a lot of threes that way. And that'll spread these big guys out and really test Duke in their man-to-man.
Allen into a double team, finds the open man in Duval. And over the back, that's going to be a foul on Bagley. Well, Mike White is the head coach of the Florida Gators. Had a lot of success at Louisiana Tech, a good player at Ole Miss, and one of the rising young stars in the profession. Led the Gators to the Elite Eight. He told us, because of his dad's job, and a lot of people know this, but for those who don't, Kevin White, his dad, is the athletic director at Duke, and he's watching his school against his son. And Mike White told us yesterday at practice he's lived in 14 different states in his life between his playing career, his coaching career, and moving around as a kid because of his dad's jobs.
He also says that his dad is all Duke blue. There's no way he's rooting for his son, even in the deep recesses of his mind. I'm not sure I believe that, but Mike White is the real deal. I mean, he's one of the best young coaches in the country, and it is no accident that Florida was in the Elite Eight his second year with the Gators. Good cut.
Chioza looking for help, kept that foot down, giving up a lot of size, being guarded by Trent. Whips a pass inside, but unable to finish. There's Jalen Hudson, who had a magnificent game against Gonzaga a couple of days ago, 35 points in the win. And we've got another foul going against Duke. This time it's on Carter. So Mike Krzyzewski is going to go to his bench early. Over 1,000 wins at Duke and 1,078 in his career. The Blue Devils, he says, not playing well. They're winning, but not playing as well as he would like them to play right now.
Well, they certainly haven't been shooting the ball very well over their last 4 games. Last 4 games, 22% from 3, 16 of 73. Grayson Allen and Gary Trent have combined for 8 of 43 from 3-point range over that period.
Jay, that foul on Carter, his second. So Bagley's in the game with 1. Carter's gone to the bench with 2. Kulichov showing some moves. Stone on the penetration, can't finish at the rim.
Well, he didn't finish it, but Florida is really moving the ball. Great job running the court by Delorier. Chioza was up in the 5th row.
Trent leaves it short. Another Bagley tip won't go down. Duke's getting on the glass, but unable to convert so far. Hudson for 3.
They are not shy at all about pulling the trigger. Jalen Hudson transferred in from Virginia Tech, and he has put up some big numbers early on in this season.
Trent open in the corner, rattles in and out. Bagley, another offensive rebound, and this time he's fouled.
Florida has made 33s in the 2 games coming into this one in this PK80. And you've really got to get right up on Jalen Hudson because he just waltzed into that shot in great rhythm. You have to pick him up even higher, and it's an unusual feeling for Gary Trent Jr. who's just a freshman to have to pick somebody up that deep. And if you do that, that opens up a drive, and then you got to help. You can kick it out. This team is much like Duke was last year in their ability to spread the floor with 4 guys that can really shoot it.
Marvin Bagley, the 3rd at the line for Duke. Already 4 rebounds, all at the offensive end for Bagley, who in the first 2 games of this tournament against Portland State and Texas, all Bagley did was score 52 points and pull down 30 rebounds.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. I mean, freaks called him a freak.
8-4 Florida in the early going. 3.5 minutes in the championship game here with the motion bracket of the PK80 in Portland.
Bagley guarding Stone.
Hudson turns the corner, lays it in.
Well, they are really spreading Duke out. You wonder how long it's going to take to try out that 2-3 zone that has been so effective, because that will keep Duke's bigger defenders at home rather than spreading them out all over the court.
Duval, good defense by Kulichov. And the rebound down to the Gators.
And they get a quick outlet and they're up the floor.
Kulichov fouled and finishes. How about that?
Igor Kulichov really struggled in his last game. Went 1 of 9 against Gonzaga, but he had 26 against Stanford. He can really score.
What a start for the Gators here in Portland, off to an early 8-point lead. And Kulichov heading to the line when we come back. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM. And in part by Want It All from Nike Basketball and Infinity. Empower the drive. This is an ESPN Sonic blockbuster. Duke and Florida in the championship game here with the motion bracket of the PK80 in Portland. A great start for the Gators. Up 12-4, just over 4 minutes into this game. We mentioned the Gators are coached by Mike White. He's 41 years of age, and White spending some time as the head coach at Louisiana Tech. Prior to that, a very good guard at Ole Miss back in the late 90s, an assistant coach at a couple of institutions, and 4 years as the head coach at Louisiana Tech, including 3 trips into the NIT, an Elite 8 appearance last year. He's got it going right now. Jeff Goodman is with his dad, the AD of Duke, Kevin White. Jeff.
So, Kevin, you got your son over there coaching. You got the team that signs your paychecks over here. What's this like for you?
You know, I thought you were going to talk to me about the recognition for Phil Knight, but unfortunately,
no, we're not going there.
This is a curveball. You know, it's one of these crazy moments. It's really hard, to be honest with you. I've got the iconic coach over here that I work every day with. I've been with him 10 years. We're Duke people. I'm a Duke guy. We're all in. But my son's over there, and that's a bit of a challenge. That's an emotional challenge. I would tell you, Jane's not here, his mother.
Yeah, where is your wife?
She's in therapy. That's where she'd be. And from therapy, she'll go right into witness protection. This is really hard on our families. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a great college basketball game. We're obviously really proud of our son. We love our son. But I am so honored and privileged to be a Dookie.
Have you talked any trash to him before the game? Any sort of conversation?
You know what? When he was a kid, we used to play a lot of basketball in the driveway, and we both talked a lot of trash. And of course, when he became about 10, I was helpless, so it was over for me. But as it relates to these kinds of things, no trash. In fact, we've really had a code of silence.
Really?
Yeah. Other than, you know, I texted him about something totally about Nike today. A big thing on Nike, but nothing about the game. And quite frankly, I haven't talked to Mike Krzyzewski about the game either. So I think if I did all of that, I'd be in therapy.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it, Kevin.
Thank you.
Well, Kevin White's a Dookie through and through. He can't like what he's seeing on the court right now. His son Mike's got to be thrilled. Mike Krzyzewski's going to use a timeout. Duke is down 14 points just over 5 minutes into this game. Tonight, Monday Night Football comes your way from Baltimore. DeAndre Hopkins and the Texans take on Joe Flacco with the Ravens. Monday Night Countdown kicks off the coverage at 6 Eastern here on ESPN. 18-4 Florida. What's going right for the Gators? What's going wrong for the Blue Devils?
Well, Duke has had a very difficult time corralling some rebounds, and Florida's had some second shots. And I'll tell you what, Florida on the defensive end, they've made things really difficult on Duke, and you have to give a ton of credit to the guards for Florida because they've guarded bigger guys. But Chris Chioza, he's down there rebounding. They've got all 5 orange shirts on the defensive glass trying to help out with those big guys.
Javin DeLaurier looking inside for Bagley. 10 on the shot clock. Bagley spins inside, too strong. Tip no good, and a second opportunity for Javin DeLaurier will go down.
Well, Duke is going to have to continue to pound the offensive glass, but they're not getting out to shooters right now. And that was a wide open shot in transition that Jalen Hudson just missed.
Florida is scoring over 100 points per game. Now, granted, some of that is against weaker opposition, but the Gators, if they're on, they can light you up.
It is not an accident that they're scoring over 100 points. Chris Chioza takes the ball into the lane and then is able to look behind him to Kayvon Allen, who's stepping into a shot. And Duke's not used to these big guys, especially the freshmen, are not used to guarding out at that three-point line.
Bagley from Grayson Allen. And Florida looking to push the pace whenever they get the opportunity. Kulachov, who started his collegiate career at Arizona State, then a couple of years at Rice, and now a grad transfer spending 1 year in Gainesville, had a 34-point game in his Florida debut against Gardner-Webb.
Looks like a little 2-3 zone there by Duke. With DeLaurier up top.
Hayes lost it on the way up, and down with the rebound, DeLaurier. DeLaurier maybe asked for big minutes tonight with Carter on the bench with a couple of fouls. Bolden with the left hand.
We're going to be seeing this all night. Florida playing to the three-point line, and Duke trying to get the ball into the paint. Duke scoring 49 points per game in the paint. That's best in the nation among Power 5 teams.
And Florida's already made 4 threes in this game in 6 attempts. They got a wide open look here, and they got another one. Allen with yet another 3 and a big smile on his face as he gets back down the court.
Just a miscommunication in the 2-3 zone. Duke wasn't sure who was supposed to be where.
third time in as many games, the Blue Devils have dug themselves a hole. They were down 8 to Portland State, trailed at the half, won by 18. O'Connell knocks down a 3. They were down 16 to Texas in the second half before rallying to win in overtime.
Jalen Hudson rushed that one a little bit, trying to get it off before Alex O'Connell could recover. Alex O'Connell's given Duke a nice boost in every game he's been in.
Maybe had the play of the game against Texas, a save on a ball going out of bounds. Got it back in, and eventually they hit a 3 on that trip that kind of spearheaded their comeback. Nice follow there by Bagley.
And Bagley is always moving, so he's so difficult to block out. So athletic, quick off the floor, and long.
Pretty good chance this game gets into the 80s or 90s, don't you think?
Oh, I don't think there's any question. Florida gets really good movement even against a zone. They'll overload it, try to get it in the middle, kick it out. They pass the ball very, very well.
Kulachov with 7 on the shot clock. Takes a bump and left that 15-footer a little bit short.
Chiozza on Grayson Allen, and Chris Chiozza is the best defender on this Florida team.
And not the biggest guy, but awfully tough. Delorier is going to try a 3, and it's way short. And here comes Chiozza with a head of steam, off balance, fouled by O'Connell. Timeout on the floor. The Gators with the lead early, getting up and down the court in a hurry and knocking down threes. Sharing the ball beautifully. Kayvon Allen is off to a hot start with 11 already. Kulachov knocks one down as well.
28 teams, 14 matchups, all kinds of stars.
That's absolutely beautiful.
One challenge. The Big Ten ACC Challenge, tomorrow night.
Starts tomorrow and runs through Thursday, the 19th annual Big Ten ACC Challenge. The Michigan State Spartans celebrating a championship here in Portland, winning the victory bracket of the PK80. They got another big challenge coming up on Thursday. They'll face the champions of the Jim Maui Invitational, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. A great game Thursday night, 7 Eastern in East Lansing. Meanwhile here, Duke has dug themselves a hole again, trailing for the third time in as many games. They are down 24-15 to Florida. The Gators have made 5 of their 8 threes.
And Florida has yet to turn the ball over, so they are getting a shot every time down. Duke has had some extra shots because they've had offensive rebounds, most notably Marvin Bagley III, who's one of the best offensive rebounders in the country.
Jay, how good was Chiozza in the double overtime win a couple of days ago against Gonzaga? He played 46 out of a possible 50 minutes, had 26 points, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds.
Yeah, he's 4 of 5 from 3. He averages 6 rebounds on the season. He's an excellent guard rebounder. And last year he had a triple-double against Missouri, the first in Florida history, and he got it coming off the bench.
Yeah, much bigger. Remember, Casey Hill was in the program for a number of years, and Chiozza sometimes started. Didn't start at all last year. Bagley. And a foul is called to send him to the line. Foul going on. Go ahead, Jay.
Anytime you gamble out front, you're just opening things up. I mean, you can extend the catch, but trying to gamble out there just isn't worth it for Florida.
Rorjak Gak picking up the foul, a sophomore from Sydney, Australia. For a lot of the game against Texas, after Grayson Allen had fouled out of the game, Mike Krzyzewski had 5 freshmen in the game, the 4 who start, plus O'Connell off the bench. And an extremely talented team, but an extremely young team that's learning a lot of lessons about themselves in a field this strong. Banked home by Bagley.
And really right now with this lineup that Duke has in the ball game, Florida has to be mindful of Grayson Allen in transition and at the three-point line, and Alex O'Connell at the three-point line. Otherwise, they can stay at home on the Duke big guys.
Duke getting it down to a 9-point deficit, 26-17. And not even at the midway point of the first half. In the zone again.
Awfully big along that back line of the zone. But because this team can really shoot it and move the ball, they can stretch them. Got blocked.
Bagley got a piece of the Hudson shot. Saved, though. Shot clock doesn't reset. Chiozza the kick. And the baseline jumper good for DeAndre Ballard, a freshman from Atlanta.
DeAndre Ballard is long, athletic, and versatile. His nickname is Ticket, and he punched that ticket with a pretty poised one dribble pull-up jumper.
And the lead back into double figures. O'Connell now looking for Bagley. Every now and again, Bagley will take a three. Remember, he took one right at the end of regulation against Texas. Allen with a deep one.
He's so good at shooting behind those screens, but he's had some difficulties the last 4 games. He has not shot the ball well at all. 17% from 3 in his last 4, and that's right after 37 against Michigan State.
Missed opportunity. Gak had snuck behind the zone. Nobody saw him.
Well, DeAndre Ballard with some good hustle to save a ball that looked like it was headed out of bounds. Saved it to Chiozza, and then he wound up on the penetration. On the closeout, he just drove it a bit. I thought he should have shot it right away from 3, but shot it over the outstretched arms of Marvin Bagley. That is not an easy shot.
Duval back into the game at the point now for Duke. Trent's out there as well. Bagley skies and lays it in.
That's some handoff action that has been difficult to guard because Grayson Allen is coming off that dribble handoff, but Marvin Bagley III just kept it there. A heck of an option.
No look pass from Chiozza to Gak.
Chris Chiozza is such a good guard. And last year he basically played behind Casey Hill at the point guard position. They played together at times. And he is tough as nails. And they need to get the ball into Bagley. He was at stone on him down low.
Bagley will take a 3 and knock it down.
Every time he touches the ball, he's such a threat. He's either going to be able to score or create something for someone else. And this zone has really slowed the tempo. It's made it Florida, they're not standing around. They're still moving the ball, but it's just a different feel than when they were playing against man-to-man. It's not as quick of a team.
And we could see Duke stay in the zone the rest of the night. They've been playing a lot of it. Another 3. Oh no, a long 2, they say. A long 2 for Ballard from the corner.
Well, Chiozza's getting great penetration into the lane. That's a foul.
Let's take a look now at our assist of the game, brought to you by State Farm.
Well, guess who? It's Chris Chiozza coming off a 10-assist performance. The drive, the dish to Gak. And every time he drives, he stays low and under control. He'll come to a 2-footed jump stop, but even if he doesn't, he's always under control and always plays with his shoulders lower than the defense.
Florida shooting 55% right now and 5 for 8 from 3. Bagley, who's already got 13 points and 5 rebounds, sits down probably just briefly with the under 8 media timeout coming up soon. And Carter is back in. Remember, he's got 2 fouls.
Grayson Allen's got Jalen Hudson on him. What a play by Trayvon Duval. Great cut and great finish.
First points of the night for Duval. Stone from the free throw line, a little bit strong.
No hesitation at all in that shot.
Duval inside, lobs it up for Carter and blocked. Gorjak Gak making some good plays, seeing some minutes here off the bench for the Gators.
Well, you don't see Wendell Carter get his shot blocked very often.
Gak is fouled hard and will be at the free throw line when we come back. 7:44 to go in the first half. These young Blue Devils getting tested yet again. Duval getting inside to lay it in, but they are still down 8 when we come back. The co-founder and the chairman of Nike, Phil Knight, will join us here at the table.
In 1964, Phil Knight had a crazy idea to start a company selling running shoes out of the trunk of his car. He was a shoe dog, an innovator, but even a visionary like him, he couldn't have known what was going to happen. Back then, no one knew. Then one Sunday, it just happened, and then it spread like the gospel. If you keep your Nikes clean, you could wear them to church.
Welcome back to the PK80 in honor of Phil Knight, the co-founder and chairman of Nike, of his 80th birthday, which I know is still a few months away, but we're going to celebrate early with a lot of basketball. Thanks for joining us, and what's the last few days been like for you?
It's been unbelievable. I thought it would be good. It's been beyond what I could have imagined.
Has it been overwhelming in some respects? Yeah. I mean, you were just out on the floor accepting an award. There are thousands of people here watching 2 great teams. A little overwhelmed at times almost?
For me, the right word is overwhelmed. It really has been.
Phil, so many of your colleagues talk about your admiration for coaches. You know, you ran for Bill Bowerman at Oregon. Where does that admiration for coaches come from?
Well, you hit it right there. I mean, basically, I had the world's best coach, and I've always thought coach was almost the greatest title any person could have. A coach influences kids probably more than any other profession does, and that's it says a lot, and influences not just on the athletic field, but for all of life. And the coaches we have here are at the top of that pyramid.
Have you been in your career closer over the years to college basketball coaches than perhaps others?
That's probably true. Basketball is our biggest category, and we started basketball real early in the game, and I think that's probably a true statement.
Phil, many years ago when you started the company, what were you? Obviously, it succeeded. Your wildest dreams, I would imagine. What were you hoping Nike would become when you were going back and forth to Japan and had shoe boxes in the back of your car and were just trying to make ends meet?
Well, we always had great ambitions about being number one in our business. At the same time, we were trying to figure out how we're going to meet payroll every Monday.
How many times were there where you said, man, I don't know if we can meet it now, and if we can't meet it, I mean, how many times were there where you were right on the brink of saying, geez, I don't know if this is viable?
We never thought we were going to fail, but there were times when we thought we should. But so it was really, very hectic in the early years, which is, I think, kind of an average entrepreneur story.
Yes. Was there a breakthrough moment that you can look back on more than any other and say that's when I knew we were going to be okay?
The picture that you showed in the intro of the waffle trainer was the shoe that really broke through for us. It took us from just being kind of mid-level to elevated us to level, and from there, probably the next step was Michael Jordan, and those two things worked pretty well together.
Yeah, that turned out pretty well.
Yep.
The Michael Jordan era. Duke and Florida here in the championship game of the motion bracket. How much basketball have you watched over the last few days?
Oh, I've been here every day and going back and forth between here and Memorial Coliseum. It's been a kid's dream.
Are you still a kid at heart in terms of being a sports fan?
I think so. I'm a fan, absolutely. And I think kid's probably right, too. Just an 80-year-old kid.
Well, this one's certainly living up to the hype with two of the top teams in the country. Florida off to a great start, although Duke is narrowing the gap. It's now a 5-point game. Have you had a chance to visit with any of the coaches who have been here in Portland?
Yeah, we had a dinner with the coaches last night, and they all came and just had a great time shooting the breeze with them. I thought one of the great moments last night is that the coaches had to go back and forth, so we had a buffet, and Mike White was there, the first one there. And he was leaving just as Mark Few was coming in, and they had played that 2 overtime game, and they stopped in the doorway and they sat and chatted. They stood and chatted for 20 minutes before they left, and I think that's just the best thing of sports.
What do you see in the future of all this, of the shoe industry and all the things that are going on now? How do you see the future being?
Well, I think basically our business really revolves around sport, and I think overall the future of sports has never been brighter. It's obviously there's a lot of things going on that are not so good, but overall you see the emotion from this tournament here and the coaches and the players and the fans. There's really nothing like it, so I think the future is very much on the up.
Phil Knight, the co-founder and chairman of Nike, joining us. This is the PK80 in honor of Mr. Knight's 80th birthday, which is coming up in February. 16 great college basketball programs competing here over the last few days. Michigan State winning one side of the tournament, and now Duke and Florida battling it out for the other side. I know you were a runner at Oregon. Running was your passion. Did you play any basketball?
I was a high school basketball player. I didn't even try out in college, so I know that I'm in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, which I didn't know they had a contributor category. So when they told me that, I thought they made a terrible mistake.
Gary Trent Jr. is heating up, and he's got the Blue Devils back in this game. It's now down to 1. Duke and Blue and Florida and Orange. We expected a high-scoring game, Jane. It looks like we're going to get it.
Well, Duke had gone back to man-to-man, but they're getting some baskets in transition, and Gary Trent has been hunting his shot. He's knocked down a couple of them, but the rhythm of the game changed when Mike Krzyzewski went into that 2-3 zone. Duke was getting cut up pretty good by Florida's man offense and all their cutting and three-point shooting, but the zone really changed the tempo of the game, and Duke has been able to get back in it.
Phil, how far back do you go with Coach K?
25 years. But, and you knew they'd find a way to get back.
Yes, yes. What was the first college basketball program that Nike became affiliated with? Was it prior to Michael Jordan?
Oh yeah, that we had quite a few college teams. We started locally first with the University of Oregon, and then we got about 10 programs that didn't have deals with anybody else. Programs that never anybody heard of. John Thompson was the first-year coach at Georgetown, and Jim Valvano is the coach at what? Iona?
That's right. He's at Iona.
Bagley over Kulichov, and Kulichov did all he could do, giving up a lot of size, and Bagley missed the shot.
Well, that's all you can hope to do is get your hands up and make him shoot over you.
And then a miss at the other end, the rebound down to Bolden. Are there sports that Nike is into now that they weren't into a few years ago, or are you still expanding your horizon?
Yeah, we're kind of getting into more all the time. That you know, lacrosse is growing, and you know, we've become real big in soccer, which was one of the last sports that we got into. So you know, and so there's a lot of sports to be involved with.
Here locally, though, running is a huge part of the culture, right? It's something you grew up with, and that's it's stayed that way to this day.
To this day, absolutely. That this is a running state.
Another rebound for Bagley. I mean, if the ball's up above the rim, he's getting it.
They don't make him like him very often.
And a hold on the inside on Gak.
Florida ran some really good offense. It was a little bump back by Kayvon Allen. Got a wide open shot, just didn't make it.
Now, back in the day, you did a little work sports writing, right? You've got some writing in your background?
I would say I worked the summers in the Oregon sports department. I had 4 bylines.
You ever do any broadcasting?
And I did high school broadcasting. Oh. Yeah, Phil Knight, the voice of KBPS, Wharton Public Schools.
You want to take a shot at it?
No.
That one was easy. All you had to do is say Duke's got the lead. Allen knocks down a 3. They have come all the way back to take the lead here on Florida.
And Florida's aggressiveness offensively, not the same as it was the first 10 minutes of the game.
First lead of the night for the Blue Devils, and now a Florida turnover.
Duke back to man-to-man the last several possessions, and looks like a different team with the way they're guarding now. Everybody communicating, staying at home, and not being beaten off cuts.
Couple of undefeated teams, number 1 Duke, number 7 Florida, the championship game of the motion bracket here at the PK80, and we are joined by Phil Knight for this segment. And boy, Coach K might make you stay here if he thinks you're a good luck charm. Duke's down by 5.
Changed around when I came to the broadcast booth.
But you have to be neutral, right?
Because, I do.
Yes, you have to be neutral on all fronts here this week. The lead up to 5.
Duke switching exchanges out front.
That shot challenged, and it's out of bounds to the Blue Devils. Phil, we really appreciate the time. Enjoy the rest of the game, and thanks for having us here.
I've had a ball. Thanks very much.
Thank you for having us.
Pleasure to be with you.
Congratulations on this. What a great event.
Phil Knight, the co-founder and chairman of Nike. Duke on a run. They've come from double-digit down to take the lead. Marvin Bagley getting it done inside. Grayson Allen getting it done outside. And the Blue Devils now leading the Gators. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800 State Farm. And in part by Lowe's. Hurry in today for huge savings on all things winter. Well, Florida, they're knocking down shots against the zone, but they haven't been knocking down three-pointers like they did early in the game.
Yeah, Florida has not made it since Duke went to the zone, the 2-3 zone. Florida has not made a 3. And Duke, which started out poorly from three-point range, Grayson Allen, and he almost had another one there. Grayson Allen, Gary Trent have been 5 of 5. So Duke's 7 of 12 from 3 now.
Trent with 2 more. He's into double figures now with 11.
And after knocking those threes down, all of a sudden Florida really extending and opening themselves up for drives.
Hudson into a lot of traffic and a lot of size on the back of that zone. And now Chioza playing safety picks one off.
Last few possessions, Florida's been going off of 1 pass.
Hudson away short on the 3 and a foul underneath going against the Blue Devils. I think it's Bolden, and it is.
Florida doesn't want to try to speed the tempo by taking quick shots off of 1 pass. If it's not there in transition, you don't have something in rhythm, then move the ball. Because that last drive that I think it was Jalen Hudson took, I mean, it was just off of 1 pass, and he was going into a set defense.
Mike White told us a story yesterday about Kulichov. Remember, a grad transfer from Rice. They were interested in recruiting him when they found out that he had decided to transfer for his last year. And Mike White went through the proper channels, got the phone number, called Kulichov, and Kulichov said to him, very mature kid, he said it's like talking to a 35-year-old. Kulichov said to him, "Coach, have you seen me play?" Mike White was in the car with his family going to the beach at the time. And he said, "No, I haven't seen you play." And Kulichov said, "I'd really like you to see me play before we go any further with this." So White got to the beach, found a way, Wi-Fi, whatever, found a way to get some video, saw Kulichov play, then called him back and said, "Yeah, I think you'll fit in pretty nicely with us." They got to know each other better, and that's the beginning of how Kulichov came to wind up in Gainesville.
See, that's the difference between him and me. I would prefer that coaches didn't watch me play. How about that rebound by Marvin Bagley III?
How about that pass by Chiozza?
Well, if you let Chiozza get into the middle, you got to keep him out of the middle. But that rebound by Bagley was absolutely ridiculous.
Bagley well on his way to his third monster night in as many games here in Portland. Grayson Allen. And a good block out there by Kulichov with Bagley right behind him.
Grayson Allen looks more confident now than he did earlier in the game, and Chiozza's chasing him off those low screens, and Allen catches it. I mean, he's putting it up as he's turning.
Chiozza got the switch. He's got Bagley on him. Pull up over him. Got it. What a confident play there by Chiozza. Now the Gators getting hot.
Just tough as nails. Fast, quick, great defender.
Are we looking at 50-50 or something like that at halftime?
What'd you expect?
This is what we had hoped for. Not this time for Bagley. And Kavarius Hayes down with a rebound. Davon Allen, who was hot early. And a foul called on Grayson Allen.
Watch this rebound by Marvin Bagley III. He missed the initial shot, and he just goes up for a second jump right over the top of Kulichov, and then able to take it to the other side. Now he's left-handed, took it to the other side to finish. I mean, he was up on his second jump faster than anybody. And that's a remarkable skill that he has that makes him so difficult to deal with and difficult to block out.
There's an excellent chance in the summer when Adam Silver goes to the microphone and says, with the first pick, team such and such selects. You might hear the name Marvin Bagley III.
Well, if he doesn't say it first, he's going to say it soon after.
Yeah. Allen knocks them both down, and we are tied at 46. Pulled in the screen. Allen the drive, deflected away. Florida ball with numbers. Kulichov for three. And nobody underneath for Duke. Chiozza lays it back in.
Duke a little slow in getting back, but how often will you see somebody on a break like Kulichov pull up from three? And Michael White, no problem with it because he can make those, and then they've got a very good chance at an offensive rebound.
Final minute of what's been an outstanding first half. Allen with a shot fake and a wide open look at it. He knocks down to three.
Poor decision by Chris Chiozza to try to take away that elbow pass. He came off the best three-point shooter for Duke, who was wide open in the corner.
Chiozza driving into the chest of Bagley, creates a little space and lays it in.
You think that guy knows how to play?
Absolutely.
They went for a 2-for-1 there too. Smart.
Smart and tough. Trent. And Hudson might have gotten a piece of that, and now Florida, if they so choose, could hold for the final shot of the half.
Well-coached team. They just looked over to Michael White, realized they could get down and get a 2-for-1. Chiozza, right, as you mentioned, right into the body of a shot blocker to take away his effectiveness. That was big time.
1 point lead, Gators, 10 seconds in the half.
Well, how much better is the SEC this year? Florida's legit.
Hudson. Yes! An outstanding first half of basketball comes to a close here in Portland. The Gators led early. The Blue Devils came back to take the lead, but Florida finishes strong here in the first 20 minutes, and they're up 53-49. They close the half on a 13-3 run. Jeff Goodman is with Mike White.
Mike, you had a 15-point lead. Duke came back, took the lead, but you go into the half up 4. What was the difference from the first part of the first half to when they took their run?
Thanks for the reminder, Jeff. Got off to a really good start offensively, of course. Guys playing with a lot of confidence. I think Duke just settled in, really. Took advantage in transition offense. We've got to do a better job of getting back and get matched.
both teams are playing a little bit fatigued. I mean, it's part of tournament play, and Marvin Bagley's been amazing so far.
How do you contain Bagley?
I have no idea. If you have any tips at halftime, holler at me, come back to the locker room. We're going to go talk about it, try to figure something out.
Thanks, Mike.
Well, he's honest. They're having trouble with Bagley, but Duke is having trouble with Florida's shooters. And we've seen a great 20 minutes of basketball here to settle this championship here in Portland. Gators leading by 4. Time now to go back to the studio with their thoughts. Adnan Burke and Seth Greenberg. Welcome back to ESPN's Feast Week, presented by Lowe's. And what a first half of basketball here at the PK80 in Portland. Marvin Bagley III having another monster half for the Blue Devils. He's got 18 points and 8 rebounds already, but Florida, they're making shots. They've made 7 threes. Chris Chioza's knocked one down. He's got 11 points and 6 assists. This is high-level basketball right now between the Gators and the Blue Devils. This is coverage of the PK80 presented by State Farm. We are here in the championship game of the Motion bracket at the Moda Center in Portland. Florida led. Duke came back and took the lead. Then Florida finished strong to lead by 4 going to the second half. What did you think of that?
It was an amazing half. How much fun was that to watch two teams that can really score? But, you know, we talk about offensive rhythm a lot, but you can have a defensive rhythm in a game as well. And I thought when Duke switched to that 2-3 zone, it helped them get a little bit of a defensive rhythm in the basketball game, because Wendell Carter picked up 3 fouls in that first half. He did not score and spent a good part of that half on the bench. Javin DeLaurier, 2 fouls as well. But a really big factor was Grayson Allen and Gary Trent knocking down 6 of 10 from 3-point range. That after Duke went to the zone and established that rhythm both on defense that extended the offensive end as well.
Ready to start the second half here of our Sonic blockbuster matchup.
Because, Dan, it looked like Florida was going to run away with this thing. They started out so hot.
Knocked away by Duval.
Boy, that was a terrific recovery on the back cut by Duval.
Allen steps into a 3. Bagley and Kulichov battles him. Again, Kulichov at 6'5", 205 has drawn the assignment of Bagley at 6'11", 234. Allen from the baseline, no, with a rebound down to Carter.
Well, Kulichov is a really good defensive rebounder. He's only 6'5", but he's really got a nose for the ball in addition to his ability to really knock down shots from anywhere on the floor.
And again, a grad transfer, so just 1 year for him at Gainesville. But how about Kulichov falling into the lap of Mike White and making this program even better? Let's get some thoughts now from Jeff Goodman.
I just spoke to Duke assistant John Shire. He said the biggest thing defensively, you can't leave their shooters. But then again, if you really step up on them, they're tough because Chioza can really get in those gaps. And offensively, keep trying to take advantage of their size, just like they were trying to do with Wendell Carter. Get the ball down low.
Well, they tried to get the ball down low. They did. Kulichov tried to step in and take a charge, but he's called for the block.
He was inside. First he was moving, but he's also inside of that restricted area.
His second foul. Florida defeating Stanford 108-87, and then Gonzaga in an epic game 111-105 in double overtime to get here. Duke beating Portland State 99-81, and then Texas in overtime 85-78. So both programs have already really been tested.
Who got the rebound? Chris Chioza.
Allen's wide open. Tip back out by Hudson. Chioza will drive and kick. Kulichov with a floater, a little bit short. Boy, a couple of good looks on that trip, but the Gators come up empty. Duval, coast to coast, can't finish.
Well, that was a good look by Florida on the last one, but it's difficult to shoot over these Duke big guys. They do make things difficult on you.
And Hudson now with a double figures as he lays it in.
Boy, Florida is really good. And this team is going to do some real damage, not only in the SEC, but beyond.
You know, Kentucky will be heard from. Missouri loses Porter, but Alabama's a good team. Texas A&M.
Well, Florida's got multiple handlers, guys that can grab a rebound and take it himself. Like Jalen Hudson grabs that rebound, takes it the other way, and nobody stops the ball. I mean, that's really difficult to defend when you've got 3 or 4 guys that can take it and that can bust out on the break, whether it's Kayvon Allen or Jalen Hudson, Chris Chioza. And he's one of the best little guy rebounders I've seen all year.
Kulichov off to Chiozza, who's got Bagley on him after a high screen and roll. It's about the third or fourth time they've done this, and this time Bagley wins the battle.
And Chiozza got past him, but those long arms made up the difference.
Bagley at the other end. Think he's got any talent?
I think he's going to be okay.
Allen with a turnaround, too strong.
But one thing, Florida does a really good job at defending without fouling. I mean, they do not rack up a bunch of fouls.
Now it's Carter guarded by Kulichov, left it a little short. Been a tough night for Carter.
See, Bagley could have got that ball.
Well, he's pretty crafty, not just a shooter. He can do a lot of things, Kulichov, huh?
Yeah, he knows how to play.
Yep.
And I called Mike Rhodes, who was his coach at Rice. Boy, how good is that? Just bumping back. And Marvin Bagley looking for the cut. But Mike Rhodes had said, who's now back at VCU, had talked about what an elite shooter Kulichov was and how he made, he could make 25 in a row in practice. And Mike White said, well, he made 48 in a row in one of our practices.
Off the leg of Kulichov, out of bounds.
Well, Dan, as you mentioned, Chris Chiozza able to get a switch, Marvin Bagley on him, and he beats him to the rim. Now against, I don't know what percentage, 9 out of 10 guys, he'd be able to get that ball in the rim, and he just knocks that away with that great length and athleticism, his ability to get off the floor quickly. And such a great runner of the floor. He can move laterally, he can run north-south, he can get off his feet. I mean, there's really nothing so far aside from he's not a good free throw shooter, but aside from that, he checks pretty much every other box.
And if you didn't hear the interview that Mike White gave to Jeff Goodman at the end of the half, Jeff asked him, what do you do to try to stop Marvin Bagley? And Coach White said, I don't know. If you've got any ideas, you can come into the locker room at halftime with us.
Pass.
And a finish by Hudson.
Chris Chiozza is a great college point guard. I mean, he does absolutely everything. He defends, he runs the break, look, his eyes are up, and he delivers that bounce pass right on the money. His head was up the entire way. And Trayvon Duval, who I think has a chance to be an excellent defender, he just whipped that pass right past that left arm of his.
And it's back to a 10-point lead now for the Gators. They were up 15. Duke roared back, took a 7-point lead, and now the Gators are back up by 10.
Well, this team does remind you a little bit of Duke last year with their ability to spread you out.
Allen. And it's out of bounds to Florida when we come back.
Give credit to Chiozza there.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Hurry in today for huge savings on all things winter. And Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. This is an ESPN Sonic blockbuster. Well, this is the motion side of the bracket, the championship game between Duke and Florida. And what a good one we got going here with the Gators now leading by 10, 61-51. A lot of time left. And these young Blue Devils are being tested again. But in the first championship game tonight, on the victory side of the bracket, two more top 10 teams. Michigan State taking on North Carolina. And Joshua Langford had a career-high 23. And the Spartans just didn't let Carolina do anything offensively as they easily won. As we take a look at tonight's Sonic blockbuster, a big night for Langford, and Carolina was held to what, 25% from the floor?
They're Carolina's lowest field goal percentage number for a game ever. And North Carolina played poorly. There's no argument there. But Michigan State's defense was really good. And that was a game in which Michigan State turned it over 20 times. I don't think Tom Izzo was particularly pleased with the way his team played overall, but I know he was pleased to get a win over North Carolina. That is a significant win for this Michigan State team.
63-45 over North Carolina. Cassius Winston named the most valuable player of the victory bracket, and Langford, his teammate, joining him on the all-tournament team on that side. Two separate 8-team tournaments here. It's almost like having, as you've said, two regionals in the NCAA tournament happening in the same place at the same time. But then the losers stick around and play two more games. That's how intricate and complicated this has been.
Yeah, nobody goes home. And for 24 games, in what, 3-4 days. It was ridiculously difficult logistically, but they pulled it off. I mean, this has been a remarkable happening. It's one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of.
Do you think in some form we will see it again somewhere?
I do. I think with Mark Hollis, the athletic director at Michigan State, and being the idea man, I think we will see this somewhere else.
Tough catch in traffic, and Hayes is fouled. Delorier got him.
Florida looks to take advantage of you at every opportunity, and Chris Chiozza does not hesitate. I mean, that was a needle threaded. It was NFL quality, even though it was a two-handed pass. And it's not easy to throw a two-handed chest pass that far. You know who's the best I've ever seen at that? Kevin Love.
Yes.
Kevin Love could stand under the basket out of bounds and with a chest pass throw the ball into the opposite basket. And I know Wes Unseld, I wasn't old enough to have seen Wes Unseld in practice, but I saw Kevin Love do that, and it's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
Delorier absorbs the contact and banks it in. He's got 3 fouls. Carter's got 3 and is on the bench. Wendell Carter Jr. has only played 9 minutes, has not scored a point, and has been plagued by fouls in this game for Duke. Chiozza. And Bagley down with another rebound, his 9th. Duval trying to back down to Kulichov. Now O'Connell. Bagley comes up with a loose ball and gets called for the offensive foul. His second.
Kavarius Hayes did a really nice job there to stay in front. The best you can do is stay in front of Marvin Bagley and make him score over you. Just make it a tough 2. But he just lowered that shoulder. And you can see that Kavarius Hayes had position and drew the charge. That was a really good play by Kavarius Hayes.
A turnover, and Delorier's out ahead of the pack.
Delorier can be an impact defender. He's already gotten a steal at the elbow. He does a good job of playing passing lanes and is very long and athletic. Not an offensive player, but he can impact the game on the defensive end and already has.
6 points, 4 rebounds, and 10 minutes off the bench tonight for the sophomore, who's put on about 15 pounds from last year and is playing a much larger role for the Blue Devils.
A lot of dribbling right now for Florida.
And Duval gets called for the foul.
Ball got knocked away, and Delorier, the beneficiary, he even got bigger from last year and has been one of the pleasant surprises in his development from last year to this. But the last several possessions, Florida has not done as much passing and cutting. It's been more dribbling and trying to create something on your own.
Kulichov up with a loose ball and nowhere to go. He'll settle it down. Still 12 on the shot clock. Well, Chiozza is quick, isn't he? Look at him go right by Allen. And then Kulichov there to finish. Chiozza a little bit slow to get up. It appears to be okay.
Taking it right into trouble and paid the price for it.
And now Florida in transition. Allen.
Fake.
Hudson there and a chance for 3.
Well, Florida just quicker to the ball, and the spread floor has been difficult for Duke to deal with because it's tough to get a block out in a scramble situation. And Jalen Hudson taking total advantage of that. But that was a fabulous pass fake by Kayvon Allen to the corner that really opened up that shot. And nobody put a body on Jalen Hudson.
That should be on Delorier, and it is his 4th. So Javin Delorier to the bench for Duke. Wendell Carter Jr., who has 3, has checked back in. And here is Hudson, the transfer from Virginia Tech. As we mentioned, had the monster game against Gonzaga in the semifinals, 35.
30 was 8 of 12 from 3 against Gonzaga. He also had 17 points against Stanford in this PK80 and opened the season early on. Put up 26 against New Hampshire. And he put points up at times at Virginia Tech. I mean, he's always been a scorer.
Allen the miss.
And he's taken some tough ones, hasn't he? And it's been made tough on him by Chris Chiozza.
Hudson pulls up. 2 of his teammates were still in the backcourt, so it was 3 on 5, and he pulls up and knocks down a long 2.
I mean, this is a conscience-free team, and it's not that they take bad shots. It's just I think the defense isn't even ready for when these guys are going to pull the trigger. What a fun team to watch and a difficult team to play against. Florida is legit. Jalen Hudson just inside that line. That's big time.
"28 teams, 14 matchups,
all kinds of stars."
That's absolutely beautiful.
One challenge. The Big Ten ACC Challenge, tomorrow night.
Great college basketball coming your way starting tomorrow. Maryland, Syracuse, Wisconsin, Virginia, the 19th annual Big Ten ACC Challenge. And then look at what's coming up later on in the week. Louisville, Purdue, Michigan, and North Carolina. The Heels will try to bounce back from that loss to the Spartans. The Spartans will be at home Thursday against Notre Dame. Duke will be in Bloomington on Wednesday. Great action all week long.
Duke's got to get Gary Trent and Grayson Allen some shots. They haven't scored yet in this half.
Allen called for the travel.
Yeah, that was just going off of 0 action. Basically 1 pass and attacking a set defense. And Trent and Allen looked like they had become untracked in that first half when they went 6 of 10 over a period of time from 3-point range. But they have been quiet since.
Chiosa misses the baseline jumper. Duval on the bench, although he's getting ready to check back in right now. Allen at the point for Duke. Bagley might have gotten away with steps. Instead, he loses the ball.
One of the few times he made a slow move.
And the pull-up at the free throw line is there for Ballard, who hasn't played a lot, but he's played with a lot of confidence when he's been in there.
That's exactly right. He has been totally unafraid to pull the trigger.
And the lead grows to 13 for the Gators. Trent is fouled.
Really one of the few times that Florida has fouled in this game. Only 6 fouls in the first half for Florida. They've played really good defense for the most part without fouling. And Duke is a team that in prior years has lived at the free throw line.
And you'd figure with their ability to throw the ball inside, especially to Bagley, they should get to the free throw line a lot with this group. It's not just a jump shooting team.
Well, he has been getting to the free throw line quite a bit, but in past years when the floor has been really spread, they've been able to attack off the dribble. But now the middle is occupied with big guys, so there aren't as many driving lanes.
And Duke's been to the line 8 times tonight. Bagley's got 6 of them. Duval the other 2. 9-0 run for the Gators.
2-guard front. Duke being lifted up. And so you can cut off the middle.
Mike Okaru, a freshman from Raleigh, is into the game. This is Hudson with a left hand, and the lead grows to 15.
Well, Jalen Hudson has been outstanding in this game, and he has rebounded as well.
I'll tell you, did you see the 5 guys in orange race back on that trip? Duke looked like they might have an advantage, and it was gone by the time the ball got into the front court.
These guys are good athletes, and they are very well coached. This is a really well coached basketball team, the Florida Gators. Mike White is the real deal.
Timeout on the floor with 11:14 to go here in the second half. The Gators on an 11-0 run. They have matched their largest lead of the game. Ballard coming off the bench. The freshman knocking down a jumper, and Florida leading 72-57.
Sunshine. When people come to Portland, they expect it to rain. The PK80 College Basketball Tournament in Portland, Oregon. Make it rain.
Well, it's been raining inside the Moda Center, that's for sure, largely due to the Gators, who are 8 for 17 from three-point range. They're up 15 on the #1 team of the nation, the Duke Blue Devils. The Gators may not have brought as many fans, but they did buy a billboard right outside the building. They want to make Portland into Chomp Town. And the Gators, I mean, there's a ways to go. Over 11 minutes. But boy, they've put themselves in a great position to possibly win this bracket.
Well, and it hasn't just been the three-point line where Florida has excelled. Duke's 8 of 18 from 3, Florida 8 of 17. But where Florida's got more offensive rebounds than Duke, they're leading 17-8 in second chance points, and they have matched Duke 26 all in paint points.
Kulichov misses the 3, and down with a rebound Carter, who again has not been much of a factor at all tonight because of foul trouble. Still hasn't scored.
Duke has to get Grayson Allen going. He has 0 points in the second half. And if those are the shots they're going to get over and over again, those are tough, really tough twos. And Allen and Trent have yet to score in this second half. And I don't think you can beat a team as good as Florida if you're without production from Trent and Allen.
Florida's also out rebounding Duke. Remember how much size they're giving up, but they're +3 in the rebounding battle.
And it's really been because of the spread floor.
Kulichov fading away a little bit too strong off the glass. The kick out back to him. And Carter just picked up his 4th foul.
Because he's got a guard out on the perimeter. Yeah. Both Florida involved both Marvin Bagley and Wendell Carter in ball screen action out front. Had to get a switch. Now all of a sudden he's got to close out to Igor Kulichov. And Kulichov went right into his body. Just a really smart move by a veteran player.
So Carter's got 4. Looks like he's going to stay. DeLaurier's on the bench with 4. And this is a tough game, say, for somebody like Bolden. If Mike Krzyzewski were to go to him, he doesn't have quite the agility that, say, a DeLaurier has. For him to stay with these shooters would be even more difficult.
Well, and that's the issue. And Duke has been the team that has done this to big teams in the past, where they make big guys come out. They've got a guard on the perimeter, and you can drive them. It's a spread floor. You can put them into really difficult situations. And right now, Duke's trying to figure out, how do they operate when Marvin Bagley and Wendell Carter have to guard smaller guys out front.
13-0 run right now for the Gators. Duval. Carter tips it up, gets it back, and it won't stay down for him.
Well, he has had no luck, even when he's had the ball right under the basket. I mean, how many times does he miss those? It's been a tough night for Wendell Carter Jr. The foul trouble, lack of rhythm. And the Florida Gators.
Yep. Sub for Mike White right now. Hayes will go out. Gack will come in. Gack with some good minutes off the bench in the first half. And now Keith Stone, the sophomore out of Deerfield Beach, Florida, will return. And Kulichov will get a breather. So they get a little bit bigger right now.
I thought Florida was really good when I watched them in tape. I was really impressed when they played their first 2 games here. But they're better than I thought.
Duval with a corner 3. Allen the assist. Almost 10 minutes to go, but it's a 14-point game. Florida up 74-60. The Gators 4-13 all time against Duke. These 2 teams met last year. Vastly different, especially Duke. They met in the Jimmy V last year in New York, and the Blue Devils emerged victorious. What a save by Bagley. He's in the first row right now. Duval and a foul.
For the athleticism of these players going after that loose ball. That was a big-time save by Marvin Bagley III, which started a transition run for Duke. It's been so difficult. That's a heck of a save there.
And the freshman Duval out of Newcastle, Delaware, to the line for the Blue Devils. Again, Duke was down for much of the game against Portland State. Down by as many as 8, down 4 at halftime. Wanted to by 18. They were down 16 midway through the second half to Texas and came back to force overtime and win it by 7 in overtime. And they have trailed most of the night here to Florida.
Well, Mike Krzyzewski had said in the last couple days that Duke has not been playing well. They have been winning, but they haven't been playing well. And they certainly haven't been shooting well, especially from the guard spot. Last 4 games, the shooting numbers have been brutal, yet they've still been able to find ways to win.
And Trent shooting better tonight. He's got 11 points, has made 3 of his 5 threes. Pull up by Hudson. Falls in and puts it back.
What a great play by Jalen Hudson. He knew he missed it as soon as he let it go. That was a tough shot. But how about the quickness and awareness to get after that ball? And Florida's been the better offensive rebounding team in this game.
I don't know if this is fair to say, but can you have a quiet 20 and 10? Because that's what Hudson has in this game.
I don't know. It seems pretty loud to me. I mean, Jalen Hudson's been spectacular. That's a tough shot fading away, but he knew he missed it. Nobody boxes him out. Nobody even looks.
And you can see some frustration on the face of Duval. He was talking to his teammates. 3 Blue Devils were closer to the basket than Hudson was, but none of them took a body. Allen the kick. Duval just hit one from there. And the foul's going to go on Gorjak Gak.
That was a really good pass by Grayson Allen. Anytime he comes off those handoffs or ball screens, he can shoot behind a ball screen very effectively. And he always seems to get the ball with good balance so he can give a shot fake and then a hard drive. And he's a finder. Like he's been the best passer on this Duke team.
Both teams are now in the bonus. 7 fouls apiece with 8:27 to go. Carter with the free throw line for the first time tonight.
Wendell Carter has such a nice touch. Not a great free throw shooter on the season, only shooting 60%, 58 over his last 4 games coming into this one. But kind of reminds you of Buck Williams, used to play at Maryland back in the day.
The lead is a dozen. Michigan State victorious over North Carolina in the championship game of the victory bracket over the PK80. This is the final of the motion bracket. Rare to see Carolina and Duke playing on the same floor one after the other, but that's what we've had here tonight. The Tar Heels go down in defeat. Chiozza just eludes everybody, but then can't finish.
Well, it didn't go down, but that was pretty to watch. This team is really hard to guard.
Carter spins and lays it in. His first field goal of the night.
A little better rhythm now, better feeling for Wendell Carter Jr. after making that move. He's so good in the post. Big possession right here. Can Florida get a score and stretch it out, or can Duke get a stop and the ability to cut it under 10 and put some game pressure on Florida?
Allen was hot early in the game, swings it to an open Stone, drives down the lane and gets it to go.
That was a really nice drive by Keith Stone. He is so skilled, moves his feet well. Really good feel. I like him a lot.
I mean, Jay, they can really shoot 1 through 5 and they can drive 1 through 5. Bagley underneath Carter, and another bucket for Carter.
But both these guys can really pass. They work so well together. It's hard to believe they're just teenagers.
Florida taking a little more time, a little more deliberately now, bringing the ball up the court.
Well, they've got veterans and veteran guards. Got away with a walk there.
Shot clock at 7. Hudson. Battle for the rebound. Bagley wins it with his 13th board of the night.
He's just a fabulous rebounder. Gets rebounds in traffic, and he's slight of build, but still able to seemingly get every board.
Carter wide open, missed the jumper. And we get a foul away from the play to take us to the under 8 media timeout. The Gators still with the lead, up 10 on Duke. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM. And in part by Sonic's Car Hop Classic. They're a foot-long coney or a cheeseburger with onion rings for $2.99. The Gators lead the Blue Devils by 10 with 6:26 to go, and yet again Chris Chiozza has been possibly the most important player on the floor for the Florida Gators.
Well, I think in a large measure for Florida, he's controlled the game. Chris Chiozza has been guarding Grayson Allen. He's done a great job on the defensive end. He's handled the ball. He scored 11 points. He's got 7 assists, only 2 turnovers, 5 rebounds. He's rebounded the ball well, especially for a guy that little. He's just tough as nails. And his defense on Grayson Allen, Allen has yet to score in this second half. That's in the same analysis for Gary Trent. Neither Trent nor Allen who both had 11 points in that first half and both made 3 threes in that first half. They have yet to score in the second, and you have to credit the great defense of the best defender on this Florida team, Chris Chiozza.
Those are his numbers for tonight in the 3 games against Stanford, Gonzaga, and now Duke. Chiozza has 51 points and 28 assists. Bagley at the line for Duke.
He also has 26 rebounds.
Wow.
And a guy his size. That was always a good one, you know, when you're a big guy and then you've got a guy like Chiozza on your team. You know, and you get in the locker room afterwards and someone go, hey, wait a minute. See that little dude over there? He got 10 rebounds. Right. How many did you get?
Right. He's listed at 6 feet tall, and that may be generous. Bagley knocks down a pair.
Yeah, he's 6 feet tall if he doesn't get a haircut for a while. But he plays bigger.
Yeah.
And he's been a huge factor in this game, in this whole tournament.
Chiozza driving, reverse. Delorier with a rebound. Chiozza with a steal.
Good decision by Igor Kolechev.
Chiozza senior, Kulichov a 5th-year senior. They got some experience out there.
Kayvon Allen has had a terrific game as well, but he's got to remain assertive on the offensive end.
Duke ball off the fingertips of Allen.
Big possession right now for both Duke and Florida. Can Duke get a score? Can Florida get a big stop? These are the kind of stops that are the difference sometimes between winning and losing.
Allen gets inside, switches hands, can't finish. Chiozza yet another rebound.
Well, Chiozza stayed in front of him, made him take a tough one.
Well, he's smart. He knows exactly what he's doing out there. Just drew the foul.
Allen has not been able to get past him. And clear foul by Trayvon Duval in transition, but I'm so impressed with the way Chiozza plays at both ends of the floor. I mean, he's a big-time guard.
Jeff Goodman's got more.
After that double overtime win last night, I asked their SID if I could interview Chris Chiozza, and the trainer looked at me and he said, I got to get him back in the training room because I think he might have a broken rib. As it turns out, he had a bruised rib, a swollen right elbow, a right shoulder contusion, and his right quad cramped up during the game. So I guess he's playing hurt.
Jeff, it might just be excuses for not wanting to talk to you. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. He's not the first one.
He took a really nasty fall during second overtime, late in the second overtime period against Gonzaga. And that's why he went back with the trainer to make sure he was okay. We were here at practice yesterday, and he went through everything with everybody else and appeared to be okay. But there is no doubting the effort or the determination on Chiozza here tonight. A travel on Bagley gives it back over to the Gators. We've got just over 5 minutes to play. It's a 10-point lead. Trent into traffic, forced it up, followed by Bagley.
Well, a missed shot sometimes can be Duke's best offense. But this right now is about getting stops. And I was a little surprised Chiozza took it on his own last time without making a single pass.
Hudson. 2 more for Hudson. He's got 24.
Well, he can score with his right, his left. Elevates, levitates, and kisses it off the glass. He's had a fantastic tournament. I mean, who do you give the MVP to if Florida were to win this thing?
I think the two of them would have to share it.
And there's still a long way to go.
Carter double teamed. 6 to shoot. Allen for 3. Duval there on the weak side. And a timeout taken by Mike Krzyzewski. 4:04 to go. Florida 82, Duke 74 here in Portland. Sports Center comes your way after the game tonight. The streaking Saints faced a big test today in the Rams. How did that turn out? Why did Tennessee cancel the deal with Shiana? What a wild week and weekend, a great weekend of college hoops action. You'll see all the highlights, some of the Feast Week headlines. And it's been a great few days of college basketball. You go back to the Maui Jim Maui Invitational. Notre Dame defeating Wichita State to win that championship. Villanova winning the battle for Atlantis. Remember, Arizona lost 3 times. Purdue lost twice. Michigan State earlier tonight, right in this building, led by Joshua Langford, beating North Carolina by 18. And now it's either Florida or Duke. Again, those 2 teams, Notre Dame and Michigan State, they will meet Thursday night in East Lansing as part of the Big Ten ACC Challenge. You will be there for that one. Should be a great night.
And there was another team that was listed on that graphic that was legit, and that's Wichita State. They're playing without Marcus McDuffie.
Yep.
When they get him back, and that's going to be another team that's Final Four good.
Lob inside for Bagley, and the foul committed by Kavarius Hayes.
Grayson Allen has not had, he doesn't seem to be the same kind of driver this year to the basket as he was in years past. Part of that is because there are big guys down in the post. It's a different kind of driving team than you used to have. Not as many shooters, not as much of a spread floor. It's a more inside-out team. And so they're having to get the ball inside, and then it's got to be kicked back out and then a drive.
Bagley at the line, and you mentioned he struggled this year shooting free throws, but he's getting better and better, and he's 8 for 9 tonight. Make it 9 for 10 after coming into this tournament at 50% on the season.
Well, when he figures that out, when he becomes a more consistent perimeter shooter, he can make perimeter shots, but you wouldn't call him a great perimeter shooter right now. I mean, then how do you deal with him? It's impossible.
He's trying to stay with Kulichov. The ball in the hands of Allen. Drives right at Carter. That wasn't going to work out very well.
Looked like a volleyball spike. And it's not like Kayvon Allen's not a good driver, good athlete, good finisher. Karch Karai would have been proud of that.
Part of the best shot blocker that Duke has. 3:20 to go. Shot clock's at 5. Chioza the drive, lays it up soft, and it's Duke ball.
Well, Duke's shot blockers are changing a lot of things near the rim. Great fake.
Allen got it. All of a sudden, it's a 3-point game. Timeout, Mike White.
Bagley and Carter have been having impact near the rim. And Grayson Allen, that's his first basket in this second half, if I'm not mistaken. And got it in transition after a terrific pass by Trayvon Duval and a fabulous shot fake. Caught it, lined it up, shot fake completely under control.
His 4th 3 of the night. Allen now with 14 points. Duke has made 10 threes in the game. And they're on a 22-8 run over the last 7 minutes to get back within 3. What a good basketball game.
Well, Duke's done a much better job of challenging at the rim. And after the challenge, they've had guys that have rebounded. So instead of Florida sneaking in there with everybody kind of watching somebody try to go block a shot, they've been more active in going after the rebounds.
Now, if you're Florida, Mike White calls a timeout. How do you kind of stem the tide here, this Duke run?
You have to score. I mean, look, you're not going to stop great offensive teams from scoring. You've got to have toughness on the offensive end. And, the way you stop runs is you've got to score on your end. You're not going to stop runs by having these amazing defensive stands. And that's really the next step for this Florida team. This team can really score, but will Florida emerge into a better defensive team? It's an elite offensive team. Can it come close to matching that on the defensive end? If it does, I mean, there's very few teams this team cannot beat.
Jeff Goodman was near the Florida huddle. Jeff, what do you have?
Mike White, only 40 years old, only been at the high major level for a couple of years. So calm, so composed throughout that entire huddle.
A 3-point lead, less than 3 minutes to go. And let's see what the ball movement is like for Florida. But they've been good tonight. They've been getting good looks because they've been sharing the ball beautifully.
Got to switch.
Carter on Allen. Allen drives him, floats it up over him and in.
Boy, what a beautiful drive by Kayvon Allen. He's an NBA talent. Comes from Arkansas. Played on the same AAU team as Malik Monk.
17 for Allen. Bagley wants it. Got Kulichov on him. Nothing you can do.
There's nothing you can do unless you're going to run a second guy at him. And if you do that, maybe you open up an open three. But I think you use Kulichov to set a screen and then see if you can get a switch. There it is.
Bagley now on Allen.
Now they're involving Carter in it as well.
Allen will use another screen. Missed the three. Hayes had it. 2 Gators were there, but it bounces free to the Blue Devils. A good job by Kulichov to stay down.
Well, that was a great rebound by Gary Trent.
Carter, no call. Bagley the finish. Boy, that could have been the 5th on Carter. It's a 1-point game.
Florida trying to involve last possession, tried to involve Marvin Bagley and Wendell Carter in ball screen action. That pulls them away from the basket. Then they can attack, maybe even get a second shot opportunity.
Chioza keeping the dribble alive, lost it. Duval, Trent, and a foul.
But what a terrific play by Trayvon Duval. Chris Chioza just playing with the ball, but Marvin Bagley down low. You catch it that deep, he can score with either hand down there. And a little bit of a curious non-call there. I guess the referee thought that it was a flop. But it's unusual you'd have that much contact and a guy going down where there's absolutely no call at all.
Very fortunate there for Duke. Would have nullified a basket and foul with Carter out of the game. As it is, the first free throw by Trent has tied it.
It's really remarkable, this young Duke team. These are a bunch of freshmen out there. And taking the punches that they've taken from Florida and still with the opportunity and the lead.
Duke leads for the first time in the second half. One minute to go.
Hudson has been a consistent scorer.
Fouled by Trent.
Not the right place to reach. Yeah, they were getting Florida into a short clock. And just an inexperienced reach, no question it's a foul. But out front, just stay in front. And the clock was what, at 12?
9th team foul, 1-1 for Hudson, a good free throw shooter. Missed it.
You want to put the ball in Marvin Bagley's hands here. Going to try to screen him into the low post.
Kulichov trying to make that tough, but again, giving up a ton of size. They double him. He finds Duval. Duval almost lost his shot. Clock's at 1. And they don't get it off. Shot clock violation on the Blue Devils. It'll be Florida ball with the shot clock turned off.
And Florida has a couple of timeouts that they can use.
And what will Mike White do? Will he use one or will he let him play it out? And now Mike Eads, the lead official, is heading over to the scorer's table. They put 0.7 of a second back on after they called the shot clock violation. It was down at 22.7. They moved it up to 23.4. I would imagine this is some sort of a timing issue, just wanting to make sure they have the exact right amount of time on the clock. I think they pretty much got it. It looked like at 23.4. It is being reset, we are told, to 23.7.
Well, now neither team needs a timeout. This has been their timeout.
Yep. What a week of basketball here in Portland. And boy, how these teams were tested. Florida needing double overtime to beat the Zags a couple of days ago. Duke trailing in all 3 games by at least 8 points, trailing by double figures in the last game and in this game. There's Kevin White, looking like the calmest guy in the building, the AD at Duke and the father of the Florida head coach. Shot clock turned off. Here come the Gators.
Have to imagine Duke's going to switch some of these. They're switching just about everything.
Hudson lost it.
Got a foul.
Trent trying to dribble some of the time away, heading to the free throw line. The Gators never even getting a shot off.
Just a little bit too much dribbling, showed the ball, just mishandled it. Tried to use a little inside-out dribble and lost it. Gary Trent this time staying in front and reached in and knocked it away.
So Trent at the line. Makes the first.
Now if this one goes in, Mike Krzyzewski will be asking for a timeout. But if it's a 3-point game, you can expect Duke to foul when it gets to under 5.
Boy, 2 big free throws for the freshman.
What a turnaround. Marvin Bagley III has been absolutely spectacular in this game. In a game where Gary Trent nor Grayson Allen in the second half were putting up many points at all. The consistent thing was the spectacular play of Marvin Bagley III. Whether it's blocking shots, rebounding, scoring down in the low post, knocking free throws down. He was a man among men down in the low post, and another 30-point game.
Crazy. If Duke wins it, there's no doubt who the MVP is going to be. He's got 82 points and 45 rebounds in 3 games here. It's an 8-0 run that the Blue Devils are on right now. They've held the Gators to 1 field goal in the last 4 minutes. And the Gators, one of the best offensive teams in the country. There's no disputing that. But a couple of very costly turnovers. Maybe because, as you said, of overhandling the ball a little bit out on the perimeter in the last couple of minutes.
Well, Duke's the most talented team in the country. They've got more lottery picks than anybody. But it's a really young team. And in this 3-game and 4-day stretch, this team has grown up immensely. Because as mentioned before, Mike Krzyzewski has said his team has not played its best of late. The last 4 games, it has not played its best, but it's still winning. And if this team can find a way to win this one, it's remarkable.
Now again, you expect, if the clock gets down under 5 seconds and the ball's still live, you expect Duke to foul.
I don't think Duke is going to allow Florida to get an open 3. Absolutely. I think once it gets across half court, they're going to look to foul.
Chiozza. Long pass, kick out Kulichov. And Duke's going to win it. For the 3rd game in a row, they overcome a deficit in the second half. And they are the champions of the motion bracket here at the PK80 in Portland. 87-84 in a great game, a game of runs that saw the Blue Devils make the run at the end and find a way to win 3 in a row here in Portland.
Just a remarkable victory. Florida had control of this game, and Duke seized control largely due to the amazing play of Marvin Bagley III. Just spectacular performance by the freshman.
And very high-level basketball from 2 great teams. We'll be hearing a lot from them over the course of the season. Chiozza gave his all. Hudson gave us all. The Gators looked like they were in control of this game. But over the last 4 or 5 minutes, this gifted offensive team could not execute. Bagley was sensational. And the Gators never really getting a good look. Chiozza was looking for Hudson, then Hudson was looking for Kulichov. And really nothing resembling a clean look at the basket as time runs out on the Gators. Duke beats Florida 87-84. So Michigan State and Duke are the 2 champions here with the PK80. This great event, seeing 16 teams, 24 games, 4 days, 2 arenas, and a lot of memories of some great basketball.
This has been the coolest tournament I've ever been a part of. It's absolutely amazing to have basically conference tournaments and the NCAA tournament wrapped up into one. It was 2 NCAA regionals where nobody went home when they lost.
The Blue Devils end the game, as you can see, in a 15-2 run. Marvin Bagley III becoming the first Blue Devil ever with consecutive 30-point, 15-rebound games. No doubt about who the MVP is going to be when they announce that momentarily. The Blue Devils celebrating a championship. Jeff Goodman is with Bagley.
Marvin, just a few months ago, the plan was for you to be in high school right now, your senior year. Instead, you reclassified, freshman at Duke right now. What's this feel like?
First of all, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Without him, I wouldn't be here. But, it's been a great experience for me, just coming out and getting a chance to play with a good group of guys like this. And I'm just blessed to be here, man. I'm just trying to enjoy it every day and just have fun and get better.
3 straight games, you made it interesting coming from behind. What set this one apart?
We just got heart, man. We got a lot of guys on this team who won't quit. We don't give up. We play hard to the end, and that's going to get us far. We just keep playing and keep fighting, man. We'll get better every day.
Thanks, Marvin.
No problem.
What a week for that young man. Marvin Bagley III, 30 points, 15 rebounds. The Blue Devils defeat the Gators in a thriller, 87-84, to win the championship of the motion bracket here at the PK80 Invitational in Portland, Oregon. SportsCenter is coming up next. For Jay Billis, Jeff Goodman, and our crew, I'm Dan Shulman saying thanks for watching. So long for the Moda Center here in Portland. Kenny Mayne and John Anderson are standing by with SportsCenter.